Hey everybody, Brandy here doing my comments from my Stampin' Studio. I've gotten a lot of requests to show you how to make this little note card box, and particularly the Rosetta that is underneath the heart. And so here I go. Alright, so this note card is made with items from our Occasions catalog, and it is the Sure Do Love You stamp set, as well as the framelits that came bundled with it. When you purchase a bundle from Stampin' Up, you actually get 10% off as opposed to purchasing the stamp set separately from the framelits. So a couple of framelits that we're going to be using today is one is the box framelit, and I'm also using the heart framelit, and then the banner framelit. All right, so I've pre-done a lot of this because most of you all will know how to cut this out, but if not, I'll be making some other videos with that. So I took my DSP, which is Painted with Love DSP, which coordinates with the Sure Do Love You stamp set, and I cut it to 4 4 1/4, and you need at least probably 7 inches, but I just basically cut it down to 4 1/2, and then I trimmed off the excess after I die cutted it out. But you can see that's perfectly there. I don't know if you can tell, but it is scored down here, and we've got these little flappies here. Now you could do this with 2 pieces of designer series paper like I did here, so you kind of have that different look with the flap. But I wanted to conserve my designer series paper because I made a lot of boxes with this framelit for my catalog lunch party that happened this past Saturday, or excuse me, Sunday, and I wanted to conserve on the designer series paper for some cards, and so I'm going to be using the just a regular cardstock. This is Melon Mambo, excuse me, and that is the color that is actually in the designer series paper. One thing I really like about Stampin' Up is that their products all coordinate, and so it makes the guesswork out of trying to match up cardstock with pattern paper and ink and stuff. So that's the Melon Mambo. All right, now so basically to make this box you need 2 of these, and hold on one second. Sorry about that. I just realized that I had not brought out my tear and tape, which is what I'm going to need. So what I'm going to basically do is fold the sides along the score lines. All right, so that's going to be 1/2 of my box. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these these die cut box, I don't know what you call these, no. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. We're going to flip them opposite of each other, and then we're going to basically adhere them. And so it depends on how you want it to look. If I wanted this to show up on the side, then I would have the cardstock, but I think I really like the DSP, so I'm going to do it like this. All right. So one of the things that I've noticed that on these projects that you really should use a heavy adhesive like tear and tape, which is what I'm going to use today, or you can use the fast fuse. But I kind of like the tear and tape. So what I'm going to do is, since this is the part that's going to go on the inside of the box, I'm going to just kind of eyeball that out here, and then I want to place this as close to that edge as possible. Okay, and then I'm going to trim off the excess. Now I don't want to get tear and tape on that flap right there, so I want to make sure that I do it just short of that. Okay, so I'm going to measure it out again. Being careful not to place the adhesive. Make sure you guys are seeing that. That'd suck if I was doing that without you all seeing it out of frame. All right. Okay. going to trim that. All right, so now we're ready to put the box together. And so we're going to tailor that tear and tape, and then we're going to adhere those together. So here we go. All right, so that leaves a nice little strip of adhesive. We want to go opposite. So now I'm going to stick this down as close to that score line as I can get. All right, and then we're going to do the same over here. Now, I do need to give some credit to another demonstrator who actually posted this project on her blog, and I just sort of cased it, and that would be Kim McGillis. Thank you so much, Kim, for inspiring me. And then we're going to fold these down, and I probably should have brandished that before I put it together, but we're just going to make a go of it. Don't do this at home, kids. All right, let's see here. Really should have done that before I put it together, but that's all right. We're going to make it happen. Now, if I was smart, I would use my bone folder. Okay, there we go. Okay. So you just kind of tuck your tails in there and put that bottom flap in, and this is going to be the top end. And so you can either leave it like this, or you can tuck it in, just depending on what kind of look you want to do. All right, and so I'm going to leave it out. Now, what you could do is put a little piece of Velcro, stick-'em Velcro here, and that way you would be able to lift that up and out all the time and keeping it secure on whatever it is that you want to put in there. You could put candy, you could put note cards. Here, let me show you the note card. This is also a design from Kim McGillis that I kind of cased as well, and so that fits perfectly in there. We do have some envelopes in our occasions catalogs that will fit this size of note cards, and it's just little cute little valentines that you would put in there. All right, so now let's see what we're going to do next. I have already stamped this in embossing, gold embossing, and used the heart cutout from that framelit set to cut out the center, as you can see there. And then I used my snips to basically fussy cut the heart that goes around it. I'm not the greatest at fussy cutting, but I think it came out okay. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp the Sure Do Love You banner, and I did that in Melon Mambo on this occasion. On this one I did this in Rich Razzleberry. And then of course use your die cut to cut out that banner, and I just think that is so cute. Okay, so the next part we're going to do is we're going to make this Rosetta part of the card. And how I make that is I take a piece of designer series paper. In this case, it's going to be 1 1/4 inch long or wide by 12 inches long. And I need to use my simply scored board. I'm going to butt up my piece of card stock or designer series paper in this case to the corner here. And this board is notched every 1/8. And I'm going to start with the 1/4 mark. And I'm going to score it down and then go down 1, 2, score, 1, 2, score. Now I've already done most of this, so you don't have to watch me do that. But my last score mark was here at the 10-inch line. So I'm going to go 1, 2, oops, 1, 2, score down, 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 and so forth. And I'm almost done. It's the last one. All right, so your paper should have even score marks every 1/4 inch. All right, so now I'm going to fold this back and forth. So I'm going to speed up the video so you don't have to watch me or sit through watching me do this. But one thing I do want to make sure that you all are aware is that we're going to fold this back and forth on every fold. And you need to make sure that you do that and you don't fold the same way on 2 folds in a row, because that will mess up your Rosetta. So just so you can get an idea of what that's supposed to look like. Make sure I did this right. No, I think I already did it wrong. Here we go. So you're going to want to make sure that you're folding it so it looks like an accordion. All right, so here I go. Okay, now that I've got that all scored, and you kind of can see there, it's a little accordion there, I'm going to want to put these 2 ends together, but it's very important that you put it together in a certain way. So you don't want to put it together where these 2 ends are touching in this direction, because it's going to make a little stick out thing. So what you want to make sure is that you kind of nest them in. So we're going to put the tear tape on this side of the Designer Series paper, and then I'm going to adhere it to this side. So let me show you how that works. And you want to use a strong adhesive, so I suggest using the tear tape or the fast fuse. Either one of those will work. I would not recommend using a liquid glue or a snail adhesive because it's just simply not strong enough. All right, so let's see if we can get this to work. All right, so basically we've got it in a circle. And now what we're going to want to do is to form it into that Rosetta. And that requires a little bit of wrangling of the paper, if you will. And before I do that, though, I need to decide which side of the paper I want up on top of my box. So do I want this side showing, or do I want this side showing? And since this already has foil in it, and this side has foil in it, I probably am not going to use that side. I want something a little bit more muted. Now, whatever side I decide I want to stand out, I'm going to put on the bottom side of the Rosetta. And the side that I don't want to show, I'm going to put on top. And let me show you how that works. And this is where the wrangling sort of comes into play. There we go. Almost had it. Here we go. There. So we're going to put this, one of my folds is not coming up. There we go. So I want this to come together in a small opening right there. So this is what I want to see. Oops. My folds are going crazy. All right, come on. I get it down in one area and it wants to pop up in another. Okay, so that's what I want. So I'm going to try to hold that with one hand and do this with the other hand. So I've got a scrap piece of paper here, which just happens to be Melon Mambo. And I used a 1 1/4 or 1.5 inch punch. You can use a layering circle or whatnot. You just want to make sure that it's not bigger than the actual Rosetta. And so I'm going to use my hot glue here with one hand. And I want to really goop it up a lot. Let me see if I can use my finger here. Goop it up a lot. All right, hopefully I'm not going to burn myself, so be careful about that. So now with this squished together, I'm going to lay this circle, and hopefully I've gotten that on camera, lay that circle right on top. I'm going to hold it there until it cools off a little bit. And then, oh, shoot. Come on. All right, well, I've made a little bit of boo-boo right there. I didn't quite get a fold in. Let me see if I can fix it while the glue is still hot. There we go, come on. But it's okay. I'm going to put this banner on top of it, so if I didn't quite get it, which I think I did fix it. Yeah. All right. So now that I've got the Rosetta there, I need to place the heart on top. This is also going to be something that I would use fast fuse on, or the tear tape. And since I'm out of fast fuse, I'm going to use the tear tape for this. All right. And I'm just going to trim that. Okay, I'm going to do it on the other side. I only need it on this spot right here, so hopefully it'll be enough. Oops, that's too much. Okay. Tear that tape off. Maybe. There we go. All right. So, I'm going to put that down. Give it a good push. All right. And now I'm going to put my banner on top of that. So that's going to cover that hole, so you're not going to be able to see that hole where you can see the glue in the background. So I'm also going to use tear tape on this as well, because it's kind of an uneven surface, and I want to make sure that it's going to stay down. And again, since I don't have tear tape, excuse me, my fast fuse, I've run out. Tear tape is an excellent substitute for that. Okay, I'm just going to trim off this excess tape. Here we go. Probably should have just put a shorter piece on there, but oh well, we don't want to waste it. All right, so we're going to put that there. That looks great. And then we're going to put it on our box. Okay, again, I'm going to use some tear tape, again, because that piece is kind of heavy, and I want to make sure that it's actually going to stay. So I'm just going to put that down there. It would really suck if I did this whole video and did it all out of frame. I need to get a better setup, but priorities, I guess. No, come on. Trying to get the tape up without taking the adhesive up. There we go. There we go. Okay. And I'm ready to place it on there. And I want to make sure I get it far enough down so that top part can flap down. All right, isn't that pretty? And again, you can put note cards in here. You can put candies, maybe those sweetheart candies that you used to get as a kid. I think that would be cute. You can fold the flap in like that and give it this way, or you can leave it out. You can put a little Velcro strip right there and you know, adhere it that way. The other thing I wanted to show you with this box framelit, to make this box as well. So instead of 2 pieces of the framelit, I used 4, and I made these little ditty bags for the ladies that came to my catalog lunch party this past Sunday. And I put a little bit of chocolate in there. There's these paper straws that I got at Kroger's that match the paper almost exactly. Of course, the Ghirardelli chocolate, dark chocolate bourbon caramel goes fittingly with me because we are in Kentucky and everything is about bourbon here. I happen to live in Woodford County, so that's where Woodford Reserve is distilled. So that's just kind of a little tidbit for you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and the ladies that did come to the class on Sunday, this is your video tutorial on how to make the boxes that you all made in class. So I hope you enjoyed. Take care. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like this video, and that way you can get more delivered right to your email box. Take care. Life happens. Stamp me some love.